There are 22 maps from World at War to BO3, and here are my top 5. Starting on number 5, we have Moon. Moon for me is what Kino is for most people. It's that simple map that you feel like you can just sit back and enjoy. The layout makes me feel like I'm never too far away from anything, and the atmosphere of the map is unique. In Moon's case, I would say the mini-boss is annoying, but not annoying to deal with. And I think that makes it easier to play the map, knowing that he's there, which is adding to the map, but not making it overbearing in a way where it's not fun. Overall for me, Moon is fun, easy, and unique, and all those things make a great zombies map. Coming in at number 4, we got the easiest zombies map to ever exist. Don't even get me started on how easy this map is. There are countless examples. You got the chalk drawings, the bank, Leroy, the paralyzer, vulture raid, and the list just keeps going on. The ray gun Mark II, with all these things in mind, it's no wonder the map isn't a challenge. Nevertheless, it's on the list, so then why? Yeah, the map absolutely babies you, but it makes me feel like I'm having a complete zombies experience. That's what I like most about Buried. When I play it, I know I'm gonna have a full, complete game and I'm gonna have fun. Unlike other maps where it's like, if you get a good run, then you have fun, but it's rocky in the beginning. You don't know if you're gonna have a successful run. That's what I think Buried does right. You know what you're getting into, and it's usually more or less the same. But that same is a chill zombies experience that is always reliable. That's why I like Buried so much. I always know that if I want to have a fun game of zombies, I can just hop on Buried and it'll be chill. And I know that I'm going to get my perks, get my guns, and I'm not going to die off of spawn. Taking the number 3 spot is Der Eisendrache. You see, Der Eisendrache overall is just a fun map with a fun specialist and even a fun Easter egg. In fact, speaking of the Easter egg, I love doing the Easter egg. It's very easy, and most games, after I get my bow, I just carry on and do the Easter egg anyway. The bows are my next topic, and my thoughts on the bows are kinda how I feel about the Origin staffs, seeing as they are pretty similar. I like that there's 4 unique wonder weapons that do their own things, and the quests to get them aren't too difficult, except maybe the fire bow. I like how you don't need the bows to play the map, but if you're trying to get anywhere, it's good to have one. And that's how the map should be played. So if you're doing the Easter egg, you need a bow. If you're going for high rounds, you should get a bow. But if you don't want one, you don't have to have one. Something else I wanted to speak on is whenever you go into a room, there always is an escape. Some rooms have more than one way to get out, and I think it really makes the layout pretty smooth. The map does bring new content though, with the anti-gravity room, the Wonder Sphere, bringing the Panzer back even though it's not new. I think the map does a really good job at blending all the elements, making everything have a purpose so that it's not just sitting there. Der Eisendrache is one of those maps that encapsulates a true zombies experience. It's very well paced and offers good content to have fun with. And all of those things make it the number 3 spot. Coming in at number 2, we have Shadows of Evil. Shadows of Evil gets an easy number 2 for just being so fun. While on the surface the map doesn't seem very beginner friendly due to the beast mode, once you get to know how to use it, it becomes pretty simple. Everything on the map follows the same basic functions and controls of the beast mode, and once you open up everything, finding how to use everything else is really easy. The Margos on Shadows of Evil are really nice early game. They give the player 1500 points and it really helps them get off their feet. You can open up the entire map, get perks, and it smooths out the game. I mean, seriously, can you imagine playing Shadows of Evil without killing those 2 Margos early game? Everything on the map is meant to be there for a reason. It gives the player a way to open up the map without struggling for money. The rituals, I think, are a nice way to buffer the early game to mid game, giving the player time to get situated before jumping into anything else. Those other things being Pack-a-Punch, the Apothicon Sword, or even the Easter egg. The Apothicon Sword is an interesting specialist, and it's one of my favorites. The process to get it has gotten easier for me over time, as I've learned where to look, but I would say that it's not exactly beginner friendly. It's easy on paper, but it's also easy to forget the symbols or remember the wrong one because they all look very similar. I also want to talk about the wonder weapon, the Apothicon Servant. The Apothicon Servant is arguably the best wonder weapon in all of zombies, but its drawback lies in its ammo supply. This is an obvious counter to its strength, but it also makes the player play with it more conservatively, use it as a safe weapon and not more offensively. So unless you're using Mega Gobblegums, you're not really relying on this thing to carry you through the rounds. If you can learn the basics of the beast mode and maybe learn how to get the sword, which isn't too hard, I think really that Shadows is a very beginner friendly map. I may be going back on my word, but Shadows gives you many opportunities to learn hands-on through the beast mode and learning the layout of the map. That's what playing zombies involves, and I really think that Shadows encapsulate that and gives a player a chance to learn. And for that reason, it takes number 2. And coming in at number 1, we have McDonald's Zombies. Nah, seriously though, Origins takes number 1. Where do I start with Origins? The generators and Pack-a-Punch give you an incentive to travel all around the map, open up all the doors, and complete them. When I said earlier about runs that don't start well, I was talking about Origins. Origins is definitely a map that if you get a rocky start, you're not going anywhere. But in that same sense, if you do get a good start, it's like an adrenaline rush that rushes through you, because you just want to keep yourself alive. That's all you want to do. Your safety is your top priority. And that incentivizes you to go get staffs, perks, and Pack-a-Punch, which are all things that you want to do. Continuing on from that, let's talk about the staffs. One thing I've learned by playing Origins with other people is that people do have preferences in what staff they want. This is nice because it really does show that each staff has its own appeals. For example, the Fire Staff is a heavy hitter that's good for hordes. Meanwhile, the Ice Staff, when it's not upgraded, is only really good for slowing down zombies, not as much getting them out of your way. And that brings up another good point. You can upgrade the staffs. You can do this by completing 2 puzzles, one in Agartha and one in the main world. This adds another layer to what makes the staffs so great. They were original and unique for their time, and it didn't just stop at crafting them, you could have a whole other upgrade process. Speaking of unique, there were a few other things too. The shovel and helmet were really nice additions to the map and they complemented it. The golden helmet protected you from the giant robot's foot, and the shovels let you dig up dig sites. Also, don't think I forgot about the big man himself. The Panzer Soldat, a zombie in an armored suit. Great idea. The first time seeing one of these things is horrifying. You hear the siren and then you watch him come down right in front of you. It is absolutely terrifying. I mean, you know what they say, you never forget your first. I think the Panzer is a good addition to the map. He's not a contender to the staffs, but it's good to have him as a challenge in the early game. Origins is supposed to be a challenging map after all. So, you get a challenge in the beginning, you get everything right, and then things go a little bit smoother in the late game. The little things in Origins help build it up to be a great map. I mean, you could get all the perks on the map if you really wanted to. It's just another feature that they added. So, for me, when I take a step back and look at all the Origins encompasses, I really know that, yeah, it is my number 1 map.